Right. Do you see me now? Do you see me now? I see your name, Patrick, and I see me on the phone, and it says live. Okay, I am unmuted. I am ready. Hello, everyone. You might, with the topic being insomnia, you might think we were caught catnapping. Not true. It's just electronic and technical troubles, and I'm not sure. Are you there now, Keith?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. You're on. We're live and good to go finally. Thank you everyone for waiting. This was unexpected, but yeah, technical difficulties, but we should be all good to go now so we can move forward with everything. Let me switch over to the slideshow now.
Oh, by the way, I can't see you folks. You can see me. And so be sure to communicate through Heath, and Heath will talk to me. And we'll go through the presentation that I have planned. And so thank you for bearing with us while we deal with these technical issues. I still am a semi-Luddite. And Heath is the guy behind it all. So thank you, Heath, for repairing this and getting us going.
Yes, you are certainly welcome, and I'm glad that I can make this work. All right, so let me make sure we're switched here to the live slideshow. I just want to give everyone an introduction. My name is Heath Redding. You know Dr. James Fain, and tonight we'll be discussing natural paths to better sleep. So before Dr. Fain gets started, I'd just like to introduce y'all to the schedule. Go through everything real quick. We've divided tonight's tutorial kind of into 3 parts, and then we'll have a live Q&A at the end where you can ask any questions to Dr. Fain, and you can do that by entering your questions into the chat box below the video, and we'll address them as best we can. And then at the end, we're actually going to have a live drawing. So how this works is you have to tell me your name and tell me that you're on the webinar by entering your name in the chat room, and I will then be able to know that you're here, you're watching this live, and we're going to enter you into a drawing at the end of the webinar for a free bottle of MSM tablets. So again, you have to talk to us in the chat room below so that we know you're here and with us. So that's all I've got to say, Dr. Fain. I will let us get started. We're 25 minutes behind schedule, but it's all good. We're here. We're going to make this work.
Okay. Thank you, Heath. Well, this is one of the most common situations all of us deal with. And there's, medicine loves idioms, and I was a Gestalt psychotherapist for a long while, too, besides being in regular medicine as a researcher and a teacher and a division chief. And one of the idioms that I remember in medicine is that 3 things that human beings need in order to be healthy, and it's kind of simple, but it's very medical, and it's feet that don't hurt, a good poop, and a good night's sleep. And if anything is missing out of those 3, then we don't quite do as well as we should. And there are reasons for not getting a good night's sleep. When I was doing psychotherapy, this was a very common condition that people would come in to see me with. And most of the time, the sleep problems were due to worry and anxiety, perhaps a level of depression. There are different types of depression, but just a common everyday one can do it. One of the symptoms of that is either too much sleep or too little sleep. And that doesn't have to go hand in hand. There you go. I wish that was me every night. And the idiom in Gestalt is that insomnia hasn't killed anyone. It just feels that way. And so bear in mind that if the more you worry about getting a good night's sleep, the more trouble you're going to be in. There are many things we can do, and I'm going to talk about the main issue of, I started out anyway with the main issue of, is it going to sleep or staying to sleep? It's very important to sort this out. Is it a combination of the two? And then just how much sleep is necessary? Well, that's a good question too. For going to sleep, this is more complicated than one would think. But keeping a regular cycle in place it's called a circadian rhythm, allows our body to produce melatonin and shut off melatonin as we need to do it. And the circadian rhythm actually is named after grasshoppers. If you've ever grown up in the South, you know what the grasshoppers sound like, and it's a rhythm. It comes on and it goes away, and it comes on and it goes away. And these are called circadia, and they're a type of grasshopper. They're ugly grasshoppers, but they are a grasshopper in that family, I understand. And they come out at nighttime and they go away at daytime. And that rhythm comes back and forth. The rhythm for us, for most human beings, is that when the sun comes up, we wake up. The false dawn gets us ready to wake up. Dawn itself wakes us up. The melatonin production drops away, and we begin to get ready for our day. Many changes occur in the body at that point in the morning. Blood pressure changes, the heart starts to pump more. The ability to stay balanced and stand up okay is there as we start to move. The first thing that happens in the morning as our rhythms start to kick in is the digestive system kicks in, the urinary system kicks in, and breakfast is breaking the fast of the night, and we start our day. Well, how do you get the circadian rhythm in place? And the simplest way is to get some sun exposure during the day. And you might imagine the sun exposure at noontime is the better sun exposure, and it's often enough just to set us up. The next thing is to pay attention to ourselves and realize that when we're sleepy, as the sun has gone down, it's time to consider going to bed and getting into our routine. The setting is important. A proper bed that suits your body. Very important. A room that's cool enough, and somewhere around 70 degrees is what science is saying and sleep studies is saying is best for us. Some people say 67, other people say 70, but it's somewhere around 70 degrees in the area of sleep, the bedroom. Second thing is enough covers to stay warm enough to stay comfortable without sweating. That also means bed clothing. It seems to be best either not to have any or to have a very lightweight so that it doesn't wrap around and constrict legs and movement as you move during the night to be able to be comfortable. Sleeping without bed clothing is often recommended, at least in the psychology community, as being the best way to sleep. You're totally unencumbered, and what is keeping you warm would be the coverings, and what's keeping you cool is to being able to lay back the coverings. The next thing to consider is the lightness or darkness of the room. The darker the room, the better it is, as, there you go, as when the lightness comes in, your body begins to produce less melatonin. And here we are back to that. Now, the lightness itself isn't just sunlight, it's also anything in the blue light spectrum, as it turns out. So if you've got a night light that changes color from red to white to green to blue, you don't want the blue light at all. If you've got any kind of router in your bedroom, it should be far enough away from the bed, first of all, because of the electromagnetic radiation. And the second thing is you don't want blue light with all of those lights flashing. In my home, unfortunately, the router can only be placed in the bedroom, but it's as far away as I can get it. and I actually have it covered up with a cardboard box, so no blue light is coming in at all. And that's beneficial. Blue light tends to stimulate those parts of our body that shuts off the melatonin production. Now, all of that being said, the whole question of how much sleep is necessary, and that changes according to life's situation, our age, and what we're going through at the time. If you've raised kids, you'll recognize that babies sleep a long time and they wake up at odd times and wake you up. I've never met a parent that wasn't sleep deprived, I don't think, in the early days. A little different with teenagers. Teenagers can sleep for 10, 12 hours easily, have to be jostled to wake up to get into a more regular sleep-wake cycle. As we get older, especially in young adulthood, when raising families or being important in our jobs and taking on added responsibilities, all of that can be interrupted by travel, it can be interrupted by worry, it can be worried about thinking through problems. One of the very interesting parts about our brain function is that we tend to resolve things while we sleep on it. You've heard, I'm going to sleep on it, and that's entirely true. We tend to resolve it. However, if all of this doesn't fall into play, that attempt to resolve problems of the day while we sleep keeps us awake. It becomes worry or maybe anxiety. And anxiety can be an element of depression. Depression has to be sorted out. And sometimes what's just important to do is, if you're awake and you can't go back to sleep, is to get out of bed, so that behaviorally you're associating bed only with a good night's sleep, and maybe anything else that you may associate with bed other than a bad night's sleep. You get out of bed, you go do something like read a book. You don't go onto the computer, because the computer monitors emanate a certain level of blue light, and you don't want to do more blue light. Read a book. Maybe do something dull and boring like wash dishes. Something that's routine and rote. And as you start to get sleepy again, you go back to bed. So bed is associated with a good night's sleep. Now, if that doesn't work at all, you just stay up. Because again, remember the idiom, insomnia itself hasn't killed anybody, it just feels that way. Now, the next day, you may not be as chipper and as fast thinking as you wish, because the brain, while we sleep, also flushes the daily toxins out of its tissue. We're primarily powered by sugar solution, and that creates combustion on the cellular level, and there's leftovers, and that appears to wash out while we sleep. And if all of that doesn't wash out, then we feel a little groggy and a little slow the next day. But if you follow your circadian rhythm again, then you're likely going to be tired enough so that when bedtime comes around the next evening, you'll be able to do so. A supplement that we all have heard about, and I've mentioned a couple of times now, is melatonin. And melatonin can follow this product, which is a relaxation support, which Heath is showing you now. And the relaxation support is actually a combination. It's a private label. It's the highest quality. It's a properly priced product. It's got my name on it. And it includes some L-theanine and valerian root, plus a variety of other herbals that not only take away the worry and anxiety, but also causes some enough relaxation so that you want to go to sleep if you take enough of the product. And very nice along with supplemental melatonin. Now, I'm not showing you a picture of melatonin. We, of course, have it here in my brick and mortar store, in which you can reach us for talking to either Ginger or Robin or myself, but Ginger or Robin primarily at 479-253-5687. It's also on my website. And you can order that and get information from that about uh, exactly what we've been talking about. And if you haven't talked to Robin or Ginger, they're really nice people, and they'll go out of their way to see that you got what you need. And remember, when you buy online through the web store or mail order, you gain my expertise through Robin and Ginger. And that's at no cost to you. They'll be glad to guide you. If they get stuck, they always contact me. Now, there's one thing I like to talk about, and this is a great way to think of this, and it's this with a sleep setting. Think of bed, back, and beyond. Isn't that clever? It's a neat way of remembering it. Bed, back, and beyond. First of all, the bed. There it is. You know, you want to look at that with love in your heart and joy, a smile on your face, as this is going to be the best place for the next 6 or 8 hours, maybe a little more if you're really tired. Needs to be your private personal space with your favorite blanket and your favorite pillow or pillows. If you have digestive difficulties like hiatal hernia or indigestion, you'll want pillows just to prop you up. You don't want to be propped up too high because you don't want to slide off the end of the bed. That's going to wake you up. But find this setting as wonderful and comfortable as you can. That window in the corner needs to be covered and blackened out while you're trying to sleep. And opened in the morning when you wake up and ready to go. That helps set your circadian rhythm. And if you notice in this picture, there is an alarm clock to the side of the bed, and it looks like it's got a blue dial on it. Well, that's what you don't want. It's a good example of that blue is going to affect your melatonin production. Red is okay, green is a little better. That clock should be further away from you too. I know it's not easy in the morning just to reach over and shut it off, but if you're setting a good sleep-wake cycle, you'll want it further away, and getting out of bed to shut it off gets you going in the morning. The back part of this, out of bed, back, and beyond, the back is that bed has to be comfortable enough to support you while you sleep. And most people start to get some aches and pains in the low back if the bed isn't strong enough or good enough to do that. The recommendations used to be a rock-hard bed. They're not that anymore. It's a firm bed to support the back, but with a soft covering of some type on top of it so that you're able to have that support and yet firmness. There are a variety. There's a sleep number bed, there's a Tempur-Pedic bed, there are also pillow top beds. Make sure whatever the bed is working for you, and exchange your bed if it's not working for you any longer. Now, the supplement that you want to take just before bedtime, if you're prone to any kind of muscle pain or back pain, and if you can put up the MSM, Heath, that's the giveaway that we're going to go do tonight. You take a few MSM, and that dose can be anywhere from 1 to 6 without any harm. There's no harm with the supplement in any manner for 9 out of 10 people. In fact, I've never heard of anybody having trouble with it. It's always possible, but I've never heard of it. It's an organic product that's found in all live tissue, plant, animal, and of course human. And the MSM is a nice anti-inflammatory. It does a lot more than that. It improves skin, hair, and nails. And it has a tendency to reduce allergies over the long haul. I take a little bit of MSM every night so that my body isn't awakening me from aches and pains as I shift and turn in the middle of the night. You can take it just before bedtime, after you've brushed your teeth, or before, and anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 is what most people do. If you've got a great deal of arthritis, you could go up to as much as 6,000. I'm not sure that anything above 6,000 is going to be of additional benefit, but again, I don't think there's much harm in doing so. This is a better product to take on a regular basis than any of the over-counter products, which can have long-term effects on kidney, liver, or even adding to heart conditions, heart attack, that kind of thing. There is an association with long-term use and high-dose use of NSAIDs and increased risk for heart attack. I know of no increased risk with the MSM. So this is going to be given away for free. So be sure that we know you're watching this webinar, and your name will be entered for the free giveaway.
Yeah, let me jump in there real quick, Dr. Fain. If you want to be entered into the live giveaway at the end of the webinar here, make sure to enter your name in the chat room below. I have to see your name so I can put it on the list to know that you're here viewing the webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Heath, for doing that. Heath, if you go back to the L-theanine, please, I want to talk about that a little bit. And theanine is a fascinating product. It's this one is really cool. Robin calls it her Zen pill, and she laughs when she says it, but she's very serious too. She loves this product. I joke with people when they ask, "Well, is this product dangerous?" And I take the question seriously, and then I make a joke out of it by saying, the only way theanine could harm you is if you swallow the entire bottle and the plastic gets stuck sideways in your throat. And and people laugh about that at that point, and I hope you see the humor in that. But the theanine itself is a type of amino acid, and it's better taken without protein, so don't take it with a glass of milk. Take it with water, and swallow as many of those as you need to keep our wonderful brains from trying to resolve problems of the day by constantly worrying and running what if scenarios through the brain, so that we're not able to relax and feel the impact of melatonin, whether the melatonin is produced naturally in the darkened room. By the way, you can use an eye mask to make a darkened room in case your room isn't dark enough, or you've got too much blue light, or if your spouse likes a lighter room for some reason, you can always wear a mask over your eyes. And the theanine, along with the melatonin, is a great combination. When you supplement with the theanine, this is 100 milligrams, and it's my private label. It's a premier product. And this particular product comes from a company called Sun Theanine, which is a top-of-the-line product. And the Sun Theanine product is better absorbed than the other manufacturers. And as long as you're not doing it with other protein, like amino acids make up protein, so if you're not doing it with other proteins like milk, then this absorbs very quickly. It goes to where it needs to go. Our brains are bathed in it, and it causes us to go into a nicely relaxed state, kind of like what you feel when you have a nice massage. And relaxed, you're alert. The melatonin then comes in and puts you into that sleep-wake cycle, and off to sleep you go. If you wake up in the middle of the night, then you can take more theanine. If the room is bright when you wake up, then you take more theanine and more melatonin. When you add melatonin, either at bedtime or when you awaken, the dosage can be as high as you wish to go. It's a very safe supplement, but the higher you go, the more REM, or rapid eye movement sleep, you go into. So it could be a very eventful night with dreaming. And when there's a lot of dreaming, then you're not resting and restoring your body so much, and your brain isn't flushing the toxins of the day so much because it's so active. So the dosage generally somewhere around 12 to 15 milligrams, where melatonin starts to kick in that REM sleep cycle. And so bear that in mind when you supplement with melatonin. Theanine is a supplement that we enjoy recommending to people here because we've had such a good response to it. Here's another use for theanine, and it isn't just sleep, it's about relaxation. Theanine can be used during the day. If you're particularly worried about a meeting, or if you're worried about comprehending or absorbing information as a student listening to a professor, anything along that line. Theanine takes all of that worry away, and you're more than likely to absorb the information, and you're still going to stay alert. It is not a sedative of any kind. It causes our brains to be alert and in the moment, and however open to the impact of melatonin and the circadian rhythm. So it's really nice for that. The relaxation support has some theanine in it, and so one or the other added to, or one and both, there you are, added to melatonin is an ideal way to get yourself back into a regular rhythmic sleep cycle, especially if you've attended to all the other considerations. The bed back and beyond. The beyond, we've talked about, and that's everything else that goes into a good night's sleep, with the understanding that insomnia by itself hasn't killed anyone. It just feels that way. So, Heath, do you have any questions? I've gone through this, but I wanted to be sure people had plenty of times for questions and answers. And we got a little bit of a late start. We were caught catnapping, just a little joke there. And I want to be sure that there's plenty of time for questions and answers, and then the free drawing of the MSM, which you will like very much. Like I said, improves hair, skin, and nails, and reduces allergies, and is a nice anti-inflammatory, which of course reduces aches and pains. It can be taken anytime during the day. I like it just before bedtime, so that my body isn't awakening me by aches and pains because I haven't moved around enough. So what do you think, Heath? Are there questions that you have on this? You haven't heard the presentation, so I'm wondering if you have it, and have other people ask questions.
Yes, we actually do have a question here, and just real quick to remind everyone, if you're watching the webinar and you want to be in the live drawing, enter your name in the chat room below so that I can submit you into the drawing. So one question we do have, Dr. Fain, is the question is, does MSM work the same way or by the same pathways as NSAIDs?
Oh, that's a really good question, and the answer is no. It does not. The thought behind MSM is that at one point in our lives, I mean that cumulatively, not my life personally, but it's also true, but in our lives as human beings, MSM, which is an organic sulfur compound found in all living tissue, it was abundant in our food. And the food that we would eat would provide us with this organic product that all of our cells in our body actually requires for metabolic function. And over a period of time, because of our farming practices and just how the world has switched and changed, we don't get nearly as much of this organic product in our food as we used to. And then, of course, with life being harried in the cities, the food being shipped in, many of the phytonutrients degrade quickly, and this is one of them that does. And but it's found in all alive tissue, so it's going to be in meat, and it's going to be in vegetables, and it's found in our body in all of our tissue. And in the absence of it, inflammation increases. So when I say it's an anti-inflammatory, it's only an anti-inflammatory if our inflammatory levels have increased because of a lack of MSM. And that's kind of interesting. One other kind of interesting pieces that I like about this is that very recently published research, and this is very cutting-edge research, is that a lack of organic sulfur, along with lack of vitamin D, and a lack of proper dietary fats contributes to the sticky plaque buildup on the inside of our coronary arteries and arteries in general. And that was an interesting piece of published finding. So there's another recommendation for doing a little bit of MSM every day, is to make sure we have enough in our systems. Did I answer the question for the person writing?
Yeah, I think that was great. We do have another question. Ian Gibbons is asking, should she take all of these together, the MSM, the melatonin, the relaxation support? What's your recommendation there?
Well, that's a good question. Again, it comes down to the issue of, am I having trouble falling asleep, or am I having trouble staying asleep? And which way does that go? And I see Flux software showing up, Flux software technology. So I hope that's Heath. And
It's me. Sorry. Everyone can see you, but I'm adding something to the slide share because I have a piece of advice I want to share with people actually.
okay, and so it depends upon that question. Now, if it's about falling asleep, you do need to be back in the circadian rhythm, which includes melatonin. Perhaps I do melatonin every night. If your mind is very active, and mine is very active, I almost always do theanine every night along with my melatonin. If I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll perhaps do added theanine. Rarely do I do relaxation support. My way of being and how I do things, I find I don't need the relaxation support. The relaxation support would be for somebody who really needs more to cause them to go to sleep, like valerian root, something sedative. And also something to relax muscles. If there's muscle tightness, relaxation support is great for that. So that's how you would go with that. Now, can you take them all together? Yes, you can. There's not any problem with that. If you take the relaxation port too late in the sleep-wake cycle, like an hour before you're due to wake up, you may feel a little groggy from some of the supplements in it, like valerian root. That can cause you to be a little sluggish. That'll wear off, but it can cause you to feel a little sluggish. Theanine does not do that. And actually, in my experience, melatonin doesn't do that either. It goes away very quickly as the sun comes up. If there's any additional questions about that, I'm glad to answer it. I hope that clarified.
Yeah, we do have some more questions. Next one is, with MSM, can you take it as a powder instead of the pill? And if you do, how much of the powder should you take?
Yeah, absolutely you can. The powdered version, the benefit is that you get as big a dose as you wish using a teaspoon. The drawback to it is that it's on the bitter side. It doesn't linger in the mouth like some bitter flavors, but it is bitter while it's on your tongue. People ask, well, if I mix it in something, would that be okay? And I jokingly say, well, yeah, don't mix it in bourbon or scotch. It'll ruin the flavor of the bourbon and scotch, and it will. But yeah, you can mix it in anything you want. The trouble with that is as you're drinking the liquid, you're subjecting your tongue to a longer period of time of the mild to moderate bitterness, which some people don't like. I don't mind it at all. I like savory foods more than I like sweet foods, and that suits me. The easiest way to do it is to get a rounded teaspoon, dump it on the front of your tongue, away from the bitter receptors, and wash it down with a glass of water. And typically, a rounded teaspoon is going to easily give you 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams, and depending on the roundness of it and the product you're using. And that's enough for most people to get their aches and pains managed. People who would be interested in my MSM product, which is in the tablet form, would be interested in getting that and being ready to avoid the mild to moderate bitter taste by swallowing tablets. However, you have to be willing to swallow a tablet. I'm personally kind of in the middle of that. I think if you like savory flavors, the bitterness isn't the problem. If you like sweet flavors more, you're probably going to want to go to the tablets, because there is no flavor to the tablets, and there is this mild to moderate bitterness to the powder. There we go.
Great. Well, yeah. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box below. While we're waiting to see if there are any more, I will share actually some of the few tips I have. Being so involved with the technology and on the computer all the time, I've come across this little software program that you can download, and it's called f.lux. And what it does is it actually makes your computer screen a kind of like a tannish color in the evening, so that your eyes naturally adapt to going to sleep. You mentioned this earlier, Dr. Fain, that being on your computer screen, it keeps the mind busy. Well, apparently, this filter that goes over your screen digitally helps your eyes kind of come to a rest. Have you heard about that?
I have. I have not heard of F-Lux, but I have heard there are ways of changing your computer screen, especially if you're checking your computer before you go to bed to keep that blue influence away. So this is a great thing. Everybody write that down. And if you're going to use a computer in the evening, which I do, I check my emails before I go to bed. This is a good thing. This is a great thing. So good, Heath. That's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah, it's
thing.
nice. It helps like relax the mind, and I try personally not to get on a computer 2 to 3 hours before I go to bed, but it happens. So this is good software to have. And then on the other side of the spectrum is meditation. There's two apps that I love in places I go, just for like little breathing 10, 15-minute sessions. Is calm.com or Headspace. Both of those are websites and apps on your phone that just take you through breathing exercises. They're 10 to 15 to 20 minutes sessions, and doing that before sleep is amazing. Works wonders for me personally.
Yeah, I'm getting creative as I'm looking at this, and I think the combination of Flux and then doing Calm.com or Headspace and taking some theanine. Wow, I mean, what a nice combination.
There you go.
Or taking some relaxation support. I'm afraid that if you took the melatonin and did this, you'd probably fall asleep sitting up. Now, here's a hint on meditation. This is wonderful. I've not seen these, but I'm very supportive of using this kind of thing. Here's an interesting meditative tactic, and that's when you do your deep breathing. See yourself in your deep breathing as inhaling through the sole of your feet. Bring the air in your mind's eye up through your feet, which are planted firmly on the floor. Breathe through the base of your feet. When you get up to your lungs, see in your mind's eye that you're turning it around in your lungs, and exhale through the very top of your head in your mind's eye. Now, why do that? Well, it's misdirection for the brain. And what will happen is that you'll go into a meditative state super fast that way, because the brain simply can't make sense of that. So the brain kind of goes, this doesn't make sense. And all of a sudden, you're much more relaxed. It's pretty cool. Breathe through the base of your feet. When you get up, when you're feeling your lungs full and you're getting ready to exhale, in your mind's eye, see it turn around. And instead of you're seeing it come out of your mouth or your nose, see it come out of the top of your head and into the world. And it's pretty cool. Well, thank you
Nice.
for bringing that up. And again, I'm going to repeat, I think doing something like what you're recommending, what you're bringing up, and I'm recommending, along with some theanine or relaxation support, would be a powerful way to get ready for bed.
Absolutely. Or if you're old school, you can just count sheep, right? That's how they used to do it.
Well,
Was the way.
there's something about that. It's the repetitive boredom of it. And actually, what you're doing is you're shifting your brain energy over to the repetitive boredom. And you don't get stuck on, gee, dude, is that an accurate count, or is that a black sheep or a white sheep? All of those questions go away. And the joke I saw was the poor fellow couldn't go to sleep, or the poor woman couldn't go to sleep because the sheep got stuck on the fence. But you don't want that to happen.
Awesome. Well, I don't see any more questions down here, but I do have one more myself that I would like you to touch upon. You'd mentioned earlier about not having clocks near the beds, and I know you recently released some articles about cell phone usage and kind of the effects that they might have on your health.
Yes.
Expound upon that. Like, do you think that people should have any digital technology in the room near them, with the radio frequency waves
During
around.
during nighttime when you're asleep, all of that should be shut off or in a different room. It's very quite simply that. The closer you get to the electromagnetic radiation, uh, more of it you're exposed to. The science is very soft and there's very little of it that indicates there's any risk for that. But there are people that strongly agree that electromagnetic waves interfere with lots of body processes, including sleep. And there is some science from Scandinavia on cell phone usage in certain cancers. It's very weak. It's very little, but why have it next to your bed? Move it to a different room. If it's in your bedroom, shut it off. Remember, when a cell phone is on, and many electronic devices that have to stay connected to an antenna or a router or something along that line, whether you're using it or not, it's still sending electronic waves out to see if it can stay connected. And yeah, while you're asleep, why do that? And make sure it's just a restful, beautiful place that you're going to be unencumbered by anything until you wake up, and then you encumber yourself with the world as it is. We have plenty of that, don't we?
Right. Great. Well, I appreciate that. Okay. Still no questions from anyone else. I'll ask one more. Being a tall person, I am 6'6", and when I sleep, because I'm assuming it's because I'm so tall, I have to have like a pillow between my legs to help balance out the body, and I don't know, keep my back straight. If I don't sleep with a pillow between my legs, it gives me severe back pains. Could you touch upon this at all? Is this normal for most people? Is it healthier to sleep with a pillow?
Yeah, it's that's in the section called Bed, Back, and Beyond for me. And absolutely, you have to find ways to accommodate your body. In medicine, it's called habitus. And you have to find ways to accommodate your body in doing so. That being said, the sleep position that's generally best considered for body processes is in a right, not it's called the right anterior oblique position, and that means that if you look at the plane of the bed, your right arm is down by your side, your left arm is up by the head. You're not completely on your right side, you're about halfway down at about a 45-degree angle, and you sleep mostly on that RAO position. That gives the body lots of internal organ space, room to move, without pressing on either your left lung or your heart, which is primarily on your left side, of course. Why left lung? Well, your left lung is smaller than your right lung. And if you're compressing your left lung and it's already smaller than your right lung, you're not going to breathe quite so well because you've got less lung volume going on. And putting pillows between knees, anything to support the spine, anything to support the organ systems, it's a great idea. Many people use full body pillows for that very reason. For me, what I need the most is a double pillow. I have a pillow on top of a pillow, and then I primarily sleep in the REO position. And but then you shift on your back and you shift over in your left. Then you move back. I move back into the REO again, and that's generally considered best. By the way, your stomach empties better lying in the right anterior oblique position, the REO position. So you're ready in the morning to have your breakfast because more food has digested properly. It's kind of interesting, I think. Okay, we have a live contest now.
Yes, that's right. I don't see any more questions in the chat room below, so we will proceed to the live contest. And I've only had 3 people enter the name, so guys, y'all have awesome odds tonight for for winning.
Wow, 1 in 3. Yeah, I'd almost put myself in there because that's a great chance of winning. Somebody's going to get a great product.
That's right. So let me switch over to our little drawing wheel here.
Oh, the drawing wheel. I remember this from last time.
That's right. That's right. So we've got a 1 in 3 chance. We've got N. Gibbons, Susanner, and is it D. Harshfield?
Yeah, that's David. Hey, David.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Guess I just click. Ta-dun, 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 ta-dun. It's going to appear here. And it's Susanner.
Okay.
Well, there you
Uh,
go. Susanner,
Thank
you
you,
have won the MSM tonight.
and thank you three for being good sports, and I hope you enjoyed this.
Corey, you still there?
Yeah,
All right, cool. All right, wonderful. Well, yeah, I think we're all good to go. Thanks everyone for, hanging out with us and dealing with the technical problems here. We will have a replay of this, so if you came in kind of in the middle of the webinar, we're going to send out a replay on via email to everyone, so you will have access to that. So, final thoughts, Dr. Fain?
Here's a picture of the three of us, and of course you see me over on the side. Oh my gosh! But that's Robin in the middle, and that's Ginger on my far left. And Robin has been with me for a long time. She's such a good friend and employee. We're almost like an old married couple, I swear. And Ginger is just the biggest sweetheart you'll ever talk to by phone, and they'll take the time to talk with you, or if they're really busy, because sometimes we get really busy here, they'll take your number and call you back, and if either gets stuck, they'll be glad to refer to me, and then I'll either call you or they'll call back after talking with me. And they can handle most of the things. If it gets complicated, they know their limits and they will check with me. We only want you to get product that is the right product for you. We're unlike retail stores for that reason, but retail is what keeps all of us going, and so we appreciate your support a great deal. Know that we'll give you our support to the extent that we're able. So thank you very much for being in tonight.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Fain, for everything. And if you are interested in checking out relaxation support or L-theanine, you can click on the button beside the chat room here, and it'll take you straight to our online store where you can pick yourself up some if you're interested. And Susanna, make sure you email Dr. Fain your information so that we can ship that MSM out to you.
And we'll be shipping it by priority U.S. mail, so you get it very quickly. And we cover the cost of the shipping too. So thank you very much again, and you're going to really enjoy this product, I think.
All right, guys. Well, we're signing off. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Bye now.
Good night.